Hello, everyone. I'm Felicia Rondo, and that's closed over there.
Clown noises.
And this is Bitsley Book Club. Today we're looking at Batman and the Joker, The Deadly Duo, Book 1. As you can see in the cover there we have.
It is the cover, and it says book one.
So, everything's totally fine. So, this is a little different. We haven't looked at a DC comic since, I think, the Monkey Prince issue 1.
Yeah, which we had planned on reviewing that whole series, which is still currently ongoing, but issue two kind of threw us off the rails of it, and then we
Yeah,
never got back on.
never
So,
got back on, and it'd be good to get back to it. But for today, we're looking at this miniseries that caught our eye when we were on the DC website, like last month.
a month before, I
Month
think, because
before,
it came
yeah.
out like right at the beginning of last month,
Yes.
November. And I think it was during October when it was coming out. We were just looking at, you know,
Yeah.
looking at
Time.
the DC website, seeing what was happening, and just here's this title called Batman and the Joker, the deadly duo, and it's like, well, what's that all about?
And then we found out some tiresome stuff about body parts being sent. And it's like, oh, it's kind of annoying. But then we get to the part where Batman and the Joker have to team up.
Yeah, in what may not quite be a historic first. I haven't, checked all of comics history, but it certainly doesn't happen as often as I would expect, given that I can't think of another time it's happened. This is a Batman and Joker team up comic.
Yeah, and they have been intertwined for going on. We're closer to 100 years than not.
Yeah, and like there has almost never been a Batman without a Joker.
Yeah,
Just a very brief period where we had Batman and no Joker, and then Joker showed up, and it's like, well, now Joker's here forever.
yeah. But so yeah, we it was very interesting as a premise, but there was just kind of this trepidatious like, okay, but if we read it, it's not gonna be very good, probably.
Yeah, we were definitely bracing ourselves leading up to the release of book one, just expecting to find a comic that was going to disagree with us, and that we were going to disagree with in turn.
Yeah, and something else happened instead that was even more surprising. We liked it a lot.
Yeah, so now most of the comics we've been reviewing on Bits of the Book Club have been very all ages fair.
Yeah.
Um, this is a Batman comic,
Mm-hmm.
and despite the fact that Batman is an icon for children everywhere, um, the Batman comics are not really for children.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a whole other kettle of fish that I could talk about. And really, there
Mm-hmm.
should be Batman comics for children that are coming out, and I don't know why there aren't,
Yeah.
given how much kids love Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Just make some child-friendly Batman.
There seems to be more child-friendly stuff for a lot of DC. It's why I'm very grateful to the DC superhero girls line, because
Hmm.
when a family with kids shows up and they're like, oh, I want Stephanie to have a she loves Harley Quinn. Can you get like a Harley Quinn book for her? And so what I can find for her besides the Suicide Squad is DC superhero girls, where she's in fucking school or whatever with all the other DC superhero girls, and it's nice family friendly fare that I can point parents to at the library,
Yeah.
and that is just
Oh.
very that's very helpful for me in my job. So
Hmm.
yeah. How about we use the segue of Harley Quinn to get to the beginning of this comic?
Certainly, though we should, of course, go over the credits and all.
Yes. So, as you can see on the screen here, the writer-artist of this comic is one Mark Silvestri. Um, then we have the letterer, Troy Peteri, Color artist, Arif Prianto. Cover artist, for the cover that we're showing here. Christopher Mitten.
Yeah. And for full disclosure about the cover that we are showing, it is a cover from book two.
We just felt like this comic where Batman and the Joker are teaming up just deserved a little chaos from us. We're reviewing issues 1 and 2 anyway, so like I think it's fair game. And also I think that this cover still pertains to the events of issue 1. But anyway,
Yeah, and it's a very nice cover too. So,
it's a really beautiful cover.
props to Christopher Mitten.
Yeah. Editors Ben Mears, Rob Levin, and Chris Conroy, and it was released on November 1st.
And right off the bat, I feel like the art is worth talking about.
Yes.
Mark Silvestri, when I first looked at the art for this issue, I definitely felt very trepidatious.
Yeah.
Because it's a very stunning style, but it's a style that might make you feel a little lost at first.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of good art terms, unfortunately. I'm not really like an art critic. And the problem is with it when it comes to this book is that Mark Silvestri definitely feels like he's doing art with a capital A.
Yes.
Like he's doing stylistic things and being very deliberate in how he's doing things. And gosh, I'm just out of my element trying to talk about it.
The penciling and inking on display is just incredible.
Yeah. There's a very, like, I don't know if you'd call it a rough style, but, like, he very deliberately leaves his pencil and ink strokes just out there for you to see as part of just the look of everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel rough, but it does feel raw.
It's very raw, very gritty.
Yeah.
Like, in this first page, Harley looks like she hasn't showered in, like, weeks.
And she probably hasn't. Because we open on Harley Quinn at the bottom of a well with, looks like discarded fast food having been thrown down to her to feed her. And she is feeding her new friends, the rats.
Yes. And telling them to sit, and remarking that if she was a rat, she'd probably date one of them.
So, Harley's making the best of being kidnapped.
Yes, which is where we open on. She's been kidnapped by unseen assailant.
Yeah, a little bit seen, but like as of right now, we're been through book two. We don't know who's kidnapped Harley. We assume we will figure out, or we will be told, through the events. But as of right now, we know that they have a creepy red eye and weird purple veins
on very pale skin.
Yeah.
And Harley's kidnapper asks if she really thinks Joker will come for her. To which Harley replies, "Oh, you betcha! My pudding's gonna come a-busting in here like a pasty-faced Rambo and fill your stupid noggin with lead. And he'll sweep me up in his arms and we'll make out like crazy for hours and hours." Which is just fantastic. And then she makes a very graphic threat to the kidnapper.
Yeah, to chop them in pieces and feed them to the little rat. To all her little pals.
Yeah. To which the kidnapper replies that they'll find out, won't they?
Yeah. And we cut away to the Bowery, where Harvey Bullock is discussing a crime scene.
Best cop Harvey Bullock. Number one best cop. Number one good. Kindest. Compassionate. He doesn't even take pay. He just does it for justice.
If there's any cop in this town who isn't corrupt, it's Harvey Bullock.
We joke because that's the opinion this comic seems to hold.
For some reason, Batman just goes on in his head about what a good man and a good cop.
I just think Harvey Bullock would save my life even if it meant giving up his own, because he's the best man ever, who's my best friend.
First bit of narration we get from Batman, which is the first of Batman's words in his comics.
Harvey Bullock is a good cop. Gotham has teeth that can sometimes gnaw the good right out of a man, but not Bullock. Not yet.
It feels honestly just farcical because I know the character of Harvey Bullock at all.
I read the issue he debuted in.
Mm-hmm.
He was the corrupt cop that the like sheriff, mayor, I don't know, like brought in to get in the way of Commissioner Gordon. And it was only after the fact, that Bullock got a heart and decided to be good with Gordon a bit. Bullock did.
Yeah, like I don't know I haven't been keeping up with Harvey Bullock specifically, but I guess a lot's been done to repair his image in the years since I last saw him being very corrupt in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So he's monologuing about the reports they received, about how there was screaming and yelling. Then calls came in about gunshots, and then this whole thing about Ryan Lang, who's not quite alive, it seems.
Yeah, there's a fun bit of dialogue here.
Yeah.
Where is it exactly? Yeah. Witness on the street said he said a tall, skinny dude with a white face running out of the building and holding what he thinks was a bowling ball.
Which is just incredible.
And kind of hard to tell, Bullock says, but I don't see any bowling trophies. The man, by the way, in the apartment is mostly dismembered. Mm-hmm. For the record, his hand is there holding a gun. Other bits of him are other places.
And Harvey remarks that they haven't found the head, and Batman says, "So the bowling ball." To which Harvey interjects, "So what I'm thinking, yeah." Which is very rough.
Mm-hmm. And it seems as though our poor victim has been, in fact, ripped apart physically by hand, rather than using a knife or tool.
Which, yowza.
Mm-hmm. Another fun exchange with Harvey being like, he was ex-SWAT, expert shooter. Hard to believe he could miss this range.
And Batman replies, he didn't. Magnum round would do a lot of damage from the looks of the blood splatter pattern. It did. And yet he managed to get away. White skin, green hair, bone. It's like a skull fragment. Survived a headshot. And then there's bloody graffiti.
And it reads, ha, 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 ha.
And Harvey says that Gordon picked a hell of a time to go fly fishing.
And then he gets a call, and as he answers it,
Batman leaves.
Yeah. And, yeah, I guess because Gordon's off fishing, somebody's got to stand there and be like, where'd he go?
Where'd he fucking go? Yeah, so that's how we open, and then we get a title drop. Batman and Joker, the duo.
The title is on a black background that has been scratched so much that it is in fact mostly white from the scratches.
Yeah.
Very striking.
Hmm. Can we get rid of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then we have some cops on the outside talking amongst themselves.
Yeah, very clearly the dirty, corrupt cop, so unlike Bullock.
Unlike Bullock, who's the best man ever. And yeah, they're just talking about how well they should be up there. They should be running the show, not Gordon's pet bat. And Batman continues his narration, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
There are still good cops in this city. Cops like Bullock and Gordon, who believe that what they do matters, and what they don't do matters just as much. Detective Blix and his cronies aren't those cops. I pull out of my dive a few feet lower than necessary. Dick often points out that I lack a sense of humor. And then we have Blix being like, "Hey, my hair!" as his wig falls off because Batman swooped down really low in the wind. And also he drops his coffee, so you can assume that after his wig fell off, the coffee got all over his head, and he's like, "Oh, I'm all wet now. Oh, I'm Blix."
Mm-hmm. All very good off-screen shenanigans because we have to be grim and dark right now.
Yes.
Then we get a chapter page.
Hmm. Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
The enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
And we cut to Selena Kyle.
Catwoman.
Mm-hmm. With one of her kitties going with Selena remarking, "Well, poo. Sorry, fellas. Looks like Gotham's glitterati are going to have to wait. A storm's coming, and we don't want to get wet."
And her little narration bubble, Batman's just like a little little
Yeah.
man logo in the corner, but hers actually like folds out into the silhouette of a cat on the side.
Which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
This is pretty neat.
I like in the Catwoman ongoing series by Teenie Howard, like whenever she's narrating, there's like this purple like emerald shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the outfit she's wearing is a slightly older one, not her current one.
It definitely it's not her current one for sure. It actually looks like the one she wore in Batman Arkham City.
Hmm. Right, that's what this looks like.
Yeah. But we cut back to Batman's narration as he remarks that
Ah.
this doesn't really fit Joker.
So, I mean, let's not, shy away from
Mm-hmm.
being critical.
Yeah, there is the
Um,
usual garden variety sanism of Batman here.
yeah, it's something I sort of talked about as well at the top of the show. In addition to the violence of Batman, um, Batman has a very big problem with the concept of insanity,
Yes.
which is a reflection. It's a reflection of society's views on it, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and very unfortunately, it's not terribly exaggerated. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that Batman talks about it at all, so you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a city thing of like Batman actually does not exaggerate the sanism of the world. It just is it.
Yeah.
Batman has a kind of gross talk about the Joker and his twisted psyche, um,
Yeah.
saying that pain and injury simply don't register, and that humans feel pain. and the Joker shares little in common with humanity. And I shouldn't need to explain why this is really gross,
Yeah.
but fact is, there are people who have limited or no ability to feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
There are people like that in the world, just as I just want to point out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them monsters. It makes them someone who needs to be careful around knives because they might accidentally cut their hand open.
Yeah.
Um,
So when I read this, and this might be wishful thinking on my part, but when I read this and I was seeing like just the emphasis has been put on like oh Joker, not even human, like, and the fact that this is a series where they have to team up. I get the sense for me that like if I were writing something like this, it would be like preceding some growth, some development, some Batman realizing he might have had the wrong idea about Joker on some level.
mhm. And if we get something like that, that'll be nice. Though, not holding my breath personally.
Yeah, and yeah.
But regardless of the unfortunate nature of Batman's line of thinking, ultimately he is coming to the conclusion that despite the Joker, being the Joker, he cannot survive being shot in the face.
Yeah. So but then out from a window comes the perpetrator with his bowling ball and all.
Mm-hmm. AKA the gruesomely severed head of a man.
Yeah, who just lands in front of the Batmobile and hisses.
Yeah, he turns. You can see his pale skin, his green hair, and like the outline of red around his lips, as well as his many, many sharp, jagged teeth. So Batman remarks,
This isn't Joker, but whoever he is, he held a four-story fall like he was stepping off a curb. And then he shoots his bat ropes from his Batmobile and says, "Don't wait for his next move. Fire the bolas and take control of the fight." It's bolas, right?
yeah. I mean, they're not typical ones. They've got hooks on them. They were fired out of a car. So, you know, bolas are normally handheld weapons with balls on the end. That's the name. I think technically because they don't have balls on the end, I don't think they're technically bolas, but you know.
Yeah, yeah. Batman uses the combat eject from Arkham Knight and flies out of the Batmobile and into the battle.
Mm-hmm. And
With
he talks about how really, really strong the ropes he wrapped around that guy.
It's pretty cutely written, I think. Just ballistic nylon threaded with carbon fiber filament. Wayne-Tech designed this material to catch hypersonic jets landing on airborne carriers. I use it for other things.
And then the creepy vampire Joker thing immediately breaks out
Yes!
of this incredibly powerful material that's used to catch jets.
Yeah, so, Batman elbows his jaw and remarks that the hit should shatter his jaw and put him down, and it does neither.
Yeah, the vampire is very clearly physically stronger than Batman, and yeah, it doesn't look good for Batman.
No, 5 seconds in and he's fighting for his life, he remarks, and he says that he needs to get some distance, get the upper hand, and,
He brings out his arm knives,
mm-hmm.
and he like stabs them into the hand of the Joker vampire.
And then gives him a clear, clean shot, like a punch to the head, and says, "I feel a bone break." Not his. Because that was his bone breaking.
Ah.
And he crashes into like some garbage cans as the werewolf Joker just hurls him across the street.
The weird Joker vampire monster starts running away, grabbing the head.
Mm-hmm.
To which Batman notices the heads mean something to him.
And that he needs to find out what.
He shoots like a tracker onto him.
And the vampires are launched. The
He,
drone things.
he's being his little bat quadcopters that are shaped like bats.
I call them the vampires because I love Castlevania.
They're vampire bats.
Yeah,
Even though they, I don't know what makes them vampire bats.
it just looks like the regular bat he has on his chest.
Yeah.
And there are they tases the living shit out of this Joker being, and
He remarks on how cool his tech is to once again show off how powerful this creepy monster thing is.
yeah.
Because standard issue police tasers did start between 3 and 5 milliamps. That kind of power will incapacitate anyone. Each individual vampire drone can generate up to 10 milliamps.
And he hits him with all four. Ha ha ha! I'm so cool. I'm Batman.
Ah, so many milliamps.
Yeah, if Nightwing was here, he'd high five him right now. He feels so cool.
That's enough to incapacitate like 8 people.
Yeah.
And then the cops show up as the creature is down on the ground from all of the milliamps.
And Batman narrates, Gotham PD would be happier if it was me lying there on the ground. And he says, I work outside the system. No official clearance, no oversight to monitor my actions. I don't follow any form of due process. Clean cops fear me because I don't follow rules they've sworn an oath to. Dirty cops fear me because they know one day I'll come for them. Which, I definitely like that last line.
Cops fear him. Cops fear him.
All cops fear him.
Yeah. And we get a different dirty cop than Blix. We get Wild Bill Bennett.
Yeah.
Who I guess is in charge of SWAT.
And Batman has to tell Wild Bill Bennett, the area isn't secure, Bennett. Keep your men back. And he narrates that Bill Bennett is one he'll come for one day.
Yeah. Bill is not intent on backing down. Is threatening to suit Batman, basically. Not directly, but...
And Batman says, you've got civilians gathering, Bennett. The area is not secure. And then Bennett tells the sergeant to get those people back and confiscate their camera phones. Just removing visual evidence of what they're doing.
Yeah, probably just a pretty common practice for most of Gotham PD.
Yep, and
one of the SWAT guys starts to cuff the creature, and Batman tries to stop him, yelling, "Wait!" As the thing wakes up,
yeah,
grabs the cop by the neck, instantly snapping his neck, and then picking up the head that he still has, because he doesn't want that guy's head. He's got this head that he already has, and starts running again. We get some more cool Batman narration.
He chooses a dead end. The building... right,
Started
sorry.
late.
There are a dozen different routes the killer can take. He chooses a dead end. The buildings in this neighborhood are old and rarely up to code. Cheaper to buy a corrupt building inspector than new pipes and gas lines.
And we see the creature barrels through a brick wall into a very old and rusty boiler room.
Yeah.
We see that the Gotham Gas Company logo as sparks from wires start going all over the place. Probably not helped by the cops' guns firing after the perp.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious what's going to happen.
An explosion occurs.
Batman jumps towards the civilians with his cape thrown out, trying to save as many people as he can.
But one officer is confirmed dead in the Gotham one reporting live from the scene, and dozens more police and civilians are reported injured.
So, given that the one officer was killed by the creature, I think Batman did manage to save everyone.
Oh, great. Oh, man, he did it.
He did it. I mean, he saved those ones, and the rest saved themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
But ultimately, everyone was saved.
And everyone was blamed. Fingers are being pointed at everyone from the mayor to the DWP to the police and to Batman, who, according to a statement from SWAT Commander William Bennett, was the primary cause of what led to the explosion. And then I believe Alfred clicks it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then proceeds to start bandaging up Master Bruce.
Or finishing, rather.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Bruce broke his hand on the monster's jaw.
And then we gotta have some taking care of him time.
It's Alfred's iconic job, other than butlering, being a field medic for Batman.
Just fucking patching up the broken, tattered fabric of Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
And I like this line from Alfred here that Bruce proceeds to ignore. There you are, Master Bruce. Just a hairline fracture, but my suggestion, which you will ignore, is to have a few days free of hitting things.
And all Bruce replies with is,
Alfred, this doesn't make sense.
to which Alfred replies, the subjects that interest you seldom do.
Batman goes on to say, evidence from the first crime scene suggests the killer took at least a grazing shot to the head. Yet when I fought him later, there was no visible wound.
Alfred maybe suggests that he could have an accelerating healing ability?
To which Bruce replies, possibly, but there was no blood on his face or his clothes, and I doubt this particular killer would take the time to freshen up between murders. The killer's body was never found, and to get back to the explosion site. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then we have something that'll come up in the next issue, too.
Yeah, because Alfred reminds him, I believe, that the Wayne Sims Foundation is called an emergency meeting for tomorrow afternoon.
To which Bruce replies, I don't have time for meetings right now. Yeah, and
Alfred brings up that considering the injuries, the property damage, and the parties involved, Bruce Wayne failing to make an appearance might be viewed as insensitive.
To which Bruce very coldly says, damage caused by Batman and law enforcement is exactly what the Foundation was set up for, Alfred. Cut a check. There's a reason the killer chose that particular escape route.
Alfred starts to object with, sir.
To which Bruce interjects again, a big check.
Of course, sir. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then some techie stuff happens with Bruce saying, computer, generate a map of the city, highlight both crime scenes. The computer highlights them, and he says, calculate the distance between the two. And the distance was 3.2 miles, which Bruce finds interesting, and then tells the computer to reanalyze the bone fragment and tissue sample. And Bruce asks, Alfred, tell me, Alfred, how is the DNA of both the dead transients and the Joker inside the body of an unstoppable man? And then the bat signal appears, and Alfred remarks that perhaps a clue has presented itself.
Batman arrives and narrates as he sends a drone to investigate this fancy present box addressed to B from J.
Access to the bat signal is limited to a trusted few. Jim Gordon is away on a fishing trip, and the others have all been accounted for. The drone scans the box using X-ray near infrared spectroscopy and ultrasound. It finds no explosives or chemical threat inside, only organic material. I send the drones into the perimeter formation and arm them. Perimeter formation and arm them. Thank you, that is the perimeter.
Yeah.
No obvious deterioration of tissue. The appendectomy appears recent.
As Batman opens the box, and we see that there is a little organ inside a bag, and taped to it is a note saying, formerly, in brackets, property of Jim Gordon.
No reason to doubt the authenticity of the note. Batman narrates, and then we get the first line from our secondary protagonist.
Mm-hmm. In a creepy wibbly box, a text box, which will be all of his text bubbles for the series. He says, "Hungry? I brought a nice Chianti." Hee hee. And then we get a big old close up of the Joker as he says, "Hiya, bats."
With like lightning like flashing behind him in the rain. It's very striking. Batman throws a batarang to wrap around Joker's ankles and then pulls it tight, which then incapacitates Joker quite quickly.
Well, Joker falls off the building and says, "Fine, next time you pick the restaurant." And he laughs all the way down until he crashes into a window. But then he says, "I'm not paying for that."
And then Batman just howls, "Where's Gordon?"
And Joker just says, "You're kidding, right?"
And Batman says, "Tell me where Gordon is or I drop you."
And Joker's got some fun lines in this book.
Yeah.
"Come on, Bats. We've been doing this for, like, what, forever? You're not gonna drop me, so lay off the improv and let's stick to the script. Especially since it won't be long before Gordon starts losing parts he probably wants to keep. Now pull me up and let's talk turkey. I'm in a jam, buddy, and I need your help." And he has so many great expressions.
Yeah, I think it was definitely this part, like, because there were fun moments throughout the comic, but like this is the part where we're like, because it needed to be good for Batman and Joker. The story is about Batman and the Joker. The parts with Batman and the Joker in them had to be really good, and they're really good.
Mark Silvestri really delivered, not just from writing, because the Joker's dialogue is so great, but also artistically, Joker looks so striking.
Yeah.
It's great.
Batman narrates, "I don't hear anything around me. Not the rain, not the city below. The only sound I hear is the Joker's voice scratching inside my head."
Mm-hmm.
And,
Joker goes on to explain, basically, that somebody's taken something that belongs to him, Harley, and he wants it back. Harley.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that nobody takes what's mine, Bats. So you're gonna help me find the jerkweed, and then we're gonna kick his ass.
And then, oh, it's so great. He calls Batman old chum.
Yeah, he says, "Think about it, old chum. With your brawn and my brains, we've been an unbeatable team. Forget that tired dynamic duo crap. We could be the deadly duo." Title drop.
Yeah. And then Joker spits on his hand and says, "Let's call it a deal and shake on it."
Jimmy boy's waiting, Bats. Spit and shake. And Batman brings up his hand.
And then spits at Joker in the face.
Yeah, and then Joker remarks, oh, that's good. But to be clear, I'm the one dealing out the funny on this team, okay? Now shake."
And then he shakes Joker's hand very, very tightly.
And Joker says, "Hey, what's the grip there before you?" And then snapped. A sound effect as, Joker's now in pain.
Yep.
And then he remarks, "Ow, You know, Bats, I take it back. I kind of like this side of you. I mean, who'd have thought the Prince of Pout had a sense of humor?
And in our last panel, we see a just bunch of Joker creatures just surrounding them as
Yeah.
Joker had the last line here.
Mm-hmm. He's so good.
Yeah.
I really like how, like, he initially is very upset that
Mm-hmm.
Batman is doing the funny, but then it takes him like about 10 seconds before he's just like, oh, I love it. I love it. You're telling jokes. It's great.
He not so much challenge so much as doing physical comedy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's great. And that's the first issue.
Mm-hmm. And
That was very surprising for us when we read it.
yeah, so like leading up to when the Joker appears,
Mm-hmm.
um, we were having a good time of it. Like Alfred was on point, which is always great.
Yeah.
But there were things like the way Batman talked about the Joker and just
Mm-hmm.
the overall, you sort of get, um, they lead with the grimmer parts and the grittier parts.
Yeah.
And those are definitely all going to be here in book two as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when we get to the Joker and we get to him just being so excellently written, being so
Yeah.
just funny and fun, and just living it up.
Yeah. Oh, it's
It
just fantastic.
Yeah, because I've read Bad Joker before.
Mm-hmm.
You never like it.
No.
Also, right at the end of the book, we get a section of inked pages by Mark Silvestri.
Showing off.
Yeah, it's just showing off the really good art that he's done, just the inks before the colors, with none of the dialogue present.
Yeah.
Just a few selections of pages, including the page where the Joker first appears.
Yeah. It's all very like incredible work from Mark Silvestri, who's just doing so much. Like not only writing a very compelling like limited series, but drawing it this strikingly. It's heck of a talent is Mark Silvestri.
Mm-hmm. And like I mean, it's very nice to be able to look at like just his contributions to the art on their own, and just get a look at like what he is doing artistically,
Hmm.
even before the colors go on, and it's really beautiful.
Truly, just like incredible stuff.
Hmm.
And we read that and we were shocked. I put in like an Amazon review just telling people, hey, this is actually really good. Check it out. And I tweeted
Hmm.
about it, and we decided that we would at least give the second issue a try. And I tell you what, the wait for it felt very long, very long. It was like a month.
Yeah.
Terrible. Um,
Imagine waiting a month for a comic book.
God, sounds exhausting. But like, and truth be told, y'all, once again, in the lead up to reading this, the second issue, there was this feeling of like, okay, it's probably gonna we're gonna the other shoe's gonna drop. It's not gonna be as good as the first issue. We're gonna be disappointed, and that'll be sad because it could have been we could have had a good Joker and Batman comic, but instead, it's probably just gonna be bad. But then something else happened.
Hmm.
It was really good. This is such a good comic.
Yeah.
I've now changed the scene
Yeah.
to our second comic.
Um. And before we get into it, I do actually also want to mention something.
Yeah.
Just sort of about if you're currently into Batman comics. Of course, events in comics are happening all the time. Status quo is changing, things like that. But like, it's been a long while since Joker and Harley have been an item in comics.
Mm-hmm.
And this limited series is definitely going for a version of things where that's still the status quo within the continuity of this book, which is pretty common for these like, you know, off to the side limited series where it's just like we're just
Yeah.
doing a version of it, not specifically in line with what the comics are currently doing. And I wanted to bring this up actually because very particularly the the main cover, which we were not displaying for book one, has the Joker very prominently in the background, and on the cover he has a false right eye.
Mm.
I didn't read the storyline where he got it, but in a recent, a year or two ago storyline, Joker lost his right eye, and he's had a pink eye um,
Hmm.
in his right eye since that time.
Yeah.
But in the comic itself, he does have both his regular green eyes, so
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense because he's not been with Harley since the events of that storyline. But
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting to note that despite the current design Joker with the pink eye appearing on the cover, it is not the case on the interior,
Yeah.
and the story is not going with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Same credits as before for this issue, besides that we're showing off the cover by Yannick Paquette,
Hmm.
and the release date for this one was December 6th.
Yeah, and
Yesterday.
we're showing off the cover by Yannick Paquette because Joker's singing in the rain.
He's singing in the rain. He's happy again.
Hmm.
And I hope it's clear the like my decision for the cover is because like in issue one, Joker gets all tied up with Batman scowling at him, but in this issue, as we're gonna
Hmm.
see, Joker is free
Yeah, for a bit.
for a bit.
Yeah, the main cover of this issue has Batman and Joker on a precarious ledge fighting off many weird Joker creatures.
Yes. And the credits also include in the interior special thanks to Matt Hawkins and special thanks to Bridget Silvestri.
Hmm.
So there's that. And then when we get to the first page, there is yet more front-loaded grittiness.
Yeah, we get a scene where two men are being held captive,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman and a girl are being held captive on being shown on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who Carl is. I don't know if this
Yeah.
is like a specific character, but he is seemingly a doctor who has been kidnapped, and his, I assume, wife and daughter have been kidnapped, based on dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a man with a knife who is threatening that if he doesn't start cutting up James Gordon, then the man will start cutting up Carl's family.
Yeah. And that's really rough.
Yeah, Carl is unwilling, but Jim Gordon
Mm-hmm.
tells him that he needs to stay strong because he'll find us.
Yeah.
Meaning, of course, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Carl says that he can't, and Jim says that he has to. They'll find us, Carl, but we need to buy some time. And he says to do it.
And it's just really, really dire.
Yeah, we
As,
see Jim chained up to a bed. We see where he has a previous wound from the last time he had something cut out of him.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carl says that he's so sorry as he powers up his little medical saw, the one with the
The
blade that kind
spinny.
of looks like it has a hat.
Yeah.
That one. And we get a title page for Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo.
And then we cut back to Batman and the Joker.
Yeah. Joker declares that Batman is never going to find Gordon, and tells him not bother getting all sweaty beating it out of Joker because even Joker doesn't know where he is.
And saying that what he does know is that the longer they blab out here, the less of him there'll be to find. Oh Lord.
Well, he's got a big, wide smile. And he says, "Now cut me loose and let's go fight some crime, partner. And by crime, I mean the one being perpetrated against me."
Which is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. Batman narrates, I frisk him and find the unusual nonsense. A plastic decoder ring, yarn, a set of wind-up chattering teeth, and 3 paper clips. I also find an item most people would have, but not the Joker. And then Batman holds up a cell phone.
And demands to know what it is.
What is this?
I believe the kids call it a phone.
Joker.
And he relents. Okay, geez. Some guy delivered to me. I'm supposed to get messages telling me things to do. Or telling me to do things.
And I just love Joker having a phone. It's just like a mobile phone.
Which he wouldn't normally have. It's not his thing.
Oh, and if it's gonna be his thing now, he knows all about all these apps now. He's on Tumblr. Everyone loves Unhinged there.
Fucking.
Batman questions what kinds of things he's going to be messaged to be told to do.
Only to be interrupted by a proximity alert from the drones.
Yeah, with the Joker creatures making themselves known.
Yeah, all just jumping at the rooftop to assault Batman.
In this group combat section in this Arkham game we are now in.
He throws some batarang, getting them right in the eyeballs of some of them.
Yeah, and
There's very much during this fight scene a sense of like Batman knows that whatever these things are, he can't kill them.
yeah,
So he's just gonna try as hard as he can to make them stop moving for a bit.
yeah. He remarks that like this confirms his suspicion that there is more than one assailant, and notes that there are superior numbers, impressive strength, but they are undisciplined and uncoordinated.
And then there's the Joker, who we cut to seeing as he's still tied up, his hands are still bound, but he is kicking one in the face hard enough to make it bleed, and choking another one out with his leg.
And I just love how Joker's drawn here. And I love like just the artistry on display with like the foot going out towards us. With oh, and his hair is so pretty. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, he says, "Yo, Bats, I know I'm kind of new at heroing, but do you think you could give me a hand so I can, use my hands?"
And then, out from just a sea of Joker creatures comes one Batarang that flies out and snits the line that he tied him up with. And we see Joker freed at last with his own one-liner.
He undoes the rope that was tied around him and says, "Thought you could mess with Gotham's most awe-inspiring Crime Stoppers, eh, handsome? Well, the choke's on you!" Ha ha ha! As he wraps the cord around the neck of the creature and pulls it tight. And gosh, he just looks like he's having the time of his life.
Yeah. Batman remarks, I can't break their bones, but hitting soft tissue might slow them down.
And then he's interrupted by the Joker crashing down, yelling, "Timber!"
And
while he is on top of the one he is choking.
I have to end this. Batman narrates, I trigger the drones. But the drones are encountering a targeting error because
Oh no.
the sensors can't differentiate between these creatures and the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Because their biometric signatures are nearly identical.
Mm-hmm.
These mysterious creatures that look like the Joker also interiorly are like the Joker.
Yeah. Then,
Uh, oh, Joker does a big kick on the guy he's been soaking to throw him off the roof, saying,
mhm.
"Hey, it's been a real gas, but my teammate needs me, so Ali."
And Batman narrates
And
incredible.
the line goes taut, and he says, "Oops,"
Yep! As he gets
because the
pulled
rope is
down.
still mostly tied around his waist.
Oh, God.
And he's like, "Whoa, hey, bats!" And Batman, as he is fighting off so many creatures, narrates,
The Joker is the most dangerous madman I've ever encountered. Joker asks for a little help.
"Little help?" As he is fully off the building and being dragged to the streets far, far below.
Batman continues. He's ended countless lives. I could let him fall and be rid of him forever. But no one dies on my watch. And he still has Gordon.
And in between No One Dies on My Watch and He Still Has Gordon, Joker remarks, "So, dangling from me from a roof is going to be a thing with us now."
And then one of the fucking Joker creatures just fucking chomps him.
Just bites down on Batman's shoulder. It's one of the ones that has a batarang in the eye, so
Mm-hmm.
Batman takes the opportunity and elbows him in the batarang.
Yep.
And then I'm not sure if he deliberately falls off the building or if he slipped, but
He sure does. They both sure start falling now.
and Joker remarks, "Ha! Dying! What a novel escape plan! You're my kind of crazy, Bats."
And we have a
And he
nice
just
wide shot.
with the Joker yelling, "Woohoo!"
And it is just elation. Pure just, oh my god, this is incredible, this comic.
And we're not even to the best part of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
because Batman, he has a grapple in his glove,
He shoots it off into one of the gargoyles, and then he starts swinging them into the window, where they heroically, triumphantly crash through.
Batman's got his cape all bundled up as he punches through, and then the Joker is also doing a big punch.
And it's just a big hero pose time.
For the deadly duo.
The Deadly Duo! And
Batman crashes into the office space, cuts the line connecting Joker to the creature, and the creature just falls.
Batman clutches at his shoulder wound and goes,
Uh, and Joker jokes by saying, "Give me a heads up if you have any sudden cravings for human flesh, Kay?"
Batman ignores that and just starts giving orders to his remote Batmobile, saying, "Plasma batteries to power, turbines to speed, engage dual occupant mode and intercept." And Joker's helping Batman down the steps with an arm around with Batman's arm around his
Yeah,
shoulder.
we cut down to them. I don't know whether they took the elevator. Probably took the elevator. But now walking out of the building, Batman leaning on the Joker for support.
Heck of a image.
They run into the creature that's just twitching on the ground and all bloody.
Yeah, with some,
And
yeah.
Joker remarks, "What now, Bats? Do we hail a bat cab? Call a super Uber?"
Only for the Batmobile's noise to make itself known with a vroom.
And Joker, looking just so elated, is like, "Wait, what? You call and it just shows up? Can it do any other tricks? Like, can it roll over and play dead?"
Batman, just getting dizzy from blood loss, just says, Get in.
And Joker making some nice referential humor is like, how? Leap over the top? Slide across the hood?
To which Bruce very impatiently replies, Get in.
Joker in the passenger seat is like, wow, look at all these buttons. What's this big red one do?
To which Batman, losing consciousness, says, Don't touch anything. Emergency action.
And restraints come around the Joker as he remarks, straight sacket, ha ha! It's like Arkham on wheels. Uh,
And
Batman continues to blearily list out numbers before he just passes out.
yeah. And Joker tries to tell the Batcar to engage toilet mode.
Because he has to pee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we cut back to Harley and her captor.
Yeah, this time we start from above.
Mm-hmm.
Her captor, other than being hooded and having a weird eye, don't know much about them still.
Yeah, like I think the issue one's main cover presumably has like that purple hooded figure. That's
I think that was just the Joker zombie monster.
yeah. But he tells Harley that Joker's boyfriend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Harley's boyfriend has a new ally. His boyfriend.
Yeah. He taunts Harley with the fact that Joker and the Batman are teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, does it bother you that the man you said was going to burst in here like a pasty-faced Rambo is running around Gotham with Batman while you rot here with the rest of the garbage? It would certainly bother me.
To which Harley just says, hey, soon to die horribly person. You got any more of these ribs? The beefy ones with the big bones?
As we see, she has been turning the big bones into some makeshift sieves.
Yep.
So Harley's probably planning to stab her way out of this one if Joker doesn't show up soon enough.
Yeah. I get the chapter title drop. Chapter 2, Teeth.
Teeth, 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 teeth.
And then we get the introduction of a new character in this comic.
Mm-hmm. We open up on Bruce's vision as he wakes up, sees a bright light with two indistinct figures, and oh, look! It's Alfred and Dick Grayson!
Yeah! Who opens with, there's our bundle of sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, y'all, Dick is on point in this whole comic.
Oh, Dick is wonderfully written. It's really great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We learn that Bruce has been out for 14 hours.
Yes. And that they had to in dealing with an infection spread that was resistant to antibiotics, they had to remove a foreign body.
Yeah, because when he was bitten, a tooth got embedded into Bruce's shoulder. With Alfred remarking, "Not my best patch-up work, I'm afraid. Little bugger did not want to come out."
And they have it in a vial now.
Yeah, they've isolated it and placed it in a cold storage solution.
Dick figured that Bruce would want to take a look at it. And Bruce says, I definitely do, Dick. But first, where is he? And then we return to Joker in the Batmobile.
Yeah, the lights come on at presumably Batman's urging.
Yes.
We see that Dick has dressed up as Nightwing. Bruce is now Batman, and Alfred is wearing a ski mask and looking kind of bored.
The Batmobile opens, and we see Joker.
And he says, About time, Bats. I was beginning to think you didn't love me anymore.
Yeah.
And he references again that he went potty in the Batmobile.
We cut back to
Um,
later.
oh, I was actually gonna bring up something I want to bring up with this panel that we've arrived at when Joker is at the Batmobile. Is that
Yeah.
this is probably the panel in the comic where Joker looks the most different from how he looks overall.
Yeah.
Though in general, Joker is not the most consistently drawn.
Yeah.
Various things about his hair and his face sort of sift around from illustration to illustration. And it is specifically a thing with the Joker. So I think it might be on purpose, just like being a bit chaotic with his character, just using whatever looks good for the scene rather than trying to keep a consistent like look for him.
Yeah.
And I mean the results have been very striking. So you know, I'm not knocking it.
Yeah. And now we're back.
And then we
we're
get
at, yeah. I think maybe my favorite line of this issue.
in which Dick says, while looking at the tooth, holy full moon, it's grown another tooth. What are you fighting, Bruce? Werewolves?
He said,
Holy full moon!
It's a
'Cause,
reference to the '60s television series with Burt Ward.
Yeah. It's iconic.
It's fucking iconic, and it just and Dick did it. He did it in a comic book that's super fucking gritty, and I love it. I love this.
So yeah, we see the tooth in its little suspension vial. It's got some flesh attached, and
Great,
it has
yeah.
grown another tooth.
Not great at all.
So you know that's creepy.
Bruce replies to Dick, "No, but the data coming in on the tissue sample is just as unbelievable. This sample has Joker's DNA, a second genetic signature from a different donor, and there appears to be a third component that we missed before."
And Dick simply replies, "A third? Yeah, I'm sticking with werewolves."
It's so good.
The third component is synthetic. And there's a lot of
Just babble
techno
here.
babble here, but
Bio babble even.
it's a triple helix, and it's right. There's a note here where I think it's Bruce remarking, "Carbon fiber. Living cells literally bonded together with carbon fiber molecules."
It shouldn't be possible. And then we have a nice back and forth between Dick and Bruce.
Yeah.
It just feels like it feels very just how Batman and Robin would put their heads together and try to like make sense of the ridiculous mystery they've come upon.
Honestly, it's really fun to just get some surprise dynamic duo.
Yeah, right after the first
in the
issue.
Deadly Duo.
Yeah, funnily enough, Deadly Duo has some of the best Batman, Bruce and Dick Grayson writing that we've seen in that I've certainly seen in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been terribly impressed seeing them interact in a lot of recent stuff, but also just Dick and Bruce don't hang out much anymore.
Which is sad for me.
Yeah.
Want to write a fanfic of those two.
And yeah, Dick talks about how somebody is out there making people, and it all has something to do with him, and he jerks his thumb towards the Joker, who is
Humming.
chained to a chair, wearing a mask with zippers on the eyes of the mouth so he can't see anything, with noise-canceling headphones, presumably blasting something or other into his ears, and he's just going,
I mean, he's humming Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Well, he's singing Dancing Queen later. He might be humming something different now. But yeah.
Bruce says that until he finds out what this has to do with the Joker, Joker stays here.
And then And then Alfred brings up that to remember that he has a meeting with the Wayne Sims Foundation.
Bruce says, Alfred. And then Alfred continues.
And need I remind you, sir, that you missed the previous two?
As we slowly zoom in on Joker's zipped up face.
Hmm.
And Bruce
Okay.
replies,
Okay, he is singing Dancing Queen in this part.
hmm.
Okay, I remember that being later in the book.
Uh, and Bruce replies, no, Alfred, you do not. And we go to the Wayne Sims Foundation with a bunch of rich business people talking
Yeah,
about
well,
business.
we go to the Wayne Tower where the Wayne Sims Foundation is having a meeting,
Yes.
to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of characters I don't particularly care about. Maybe some of them will die later. No.
But then,
But Sims is here. He's got an eye patch, he's an asshole,
and
and
then
he wants to be the governor.
he sneezes as Selena makes her entrance. Selena Kyle.
And he says that, Miss Kyle, I specifically told you not to bring your cat to meetings.
To which Selena replies, that was Pickles. This is Monkey. Besides, Mr. Wayne likes my kitties, and this is his building.
And Sims says, well, Wayne isn't here, and he better have one hell of a good reason why, because I swear to God I'll only to be interrupted with an ahem from who other than Dick Grayson. Because Mr. Wayne sends his apologies, but he was called away on another matter. He asked me to chair the meeting in his stead.
And Sims is rendered speechless, and Selena just remarks, oopsie. Oh, it's great.
There is also in the background a fun bit of dialogue from Selena where she says, your precious gem collection sounds fabulous, Mr. Benson. And when did you say you were leaving on vacation?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Very good.
And we have a meetup between Batman and Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
Bullock recaps. White-faced monster ninjas blow out over the street and rooftops. And let's not forget the fact witnesses saw the Joker getting into your car. And to top it off, 2 more headless bodies were found. One a cop. Mia's going nuts, Batman. Too scared to leave their homes. And just a few hours ago, a box was delivered to police headquarters. We thought it was a bomb. Inside was a severed finger. And a note addressed to you from Jay. Want to tell me what the hell is going on? And Batman replies, it's complicated, Bullock. There's some things I need to look into. And Bullock remarks, look, I know we're not drinking buddies or nothing, but I think I've earned some trust over the years. And Batman just says, I'll be in touch. And Bullock, that finger is Jim Gordon's.
Which is a hell of a thing to leave Bullock on, when Bullock was pretty sure that Jim was out fishing.
Yeah. And, Bruce makes it to the place that Joker was told to go to.
Yeah, because he has Joker's phone, and he received a text from it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he starts talking about the history of this steel mill turned recycling plant.
My great grandfather was here, and he back then steel mills just made themselves. He just kind of coughed and it happened. And the plant's been shuttered since the Great Depression, but smoke shouldn't be coming from the furnaces. My eyes tend to roll to the back of my fucking head whenever we're doing Wayne history. Actually, my grand step uncle.
Yeah. I found this one to be slightly more relevant because he mentions that when he was a boy, he would sneak away to explore these ruins and look for ghosts. And that light is coming from the building he used to think was haunted. Mm-hmm. And it's just a fun little, Bruce Wayne was once an innocent child, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then a message comes in, or a text came in.
Text him and bring him here. And
Yeah.
then when he gets here, another text comes to the phone saying, "Hello, Batman. What a pleasant surprise. Please come in."
And Batman narrates that he is taking the bait.
Yeah. When he arrives, a voice, presumably from a loudspeaker sitting somewhere, welcomes him to the grand reopening of Wayne Recycling,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and asks him where the Joker is.
To which Batman replies, I have him.
The mysterious voice says that I had a task for him. Are you taking his place?
And Batman answers, no.
The voice asks, then why are you here?
To which Batman answers, curiosity.
Hmm. The voice says, you'll want to go through that door and mind the children as Joker monsters are all over here.
Yeah.
Saying that they can be excitable.
Mm-hmm.
Batman walks through this throng of Joker creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Just, very creepy. They're just kind of standing around.
Yeah. And,
He gets in and he finds, quite a sight.
as the voice echoing in the building allows
Says,
himself
allow me to illuminate your curiosity, and then turns on the lights.
and we see a man and a woman,
Mm-hmm.
parents, two parents.
William and Lisa Gray, parents of a young son named Thomas, says the voice. And he declares that one of them has to die tonight. To get what he wanted, the Joker was to decide which. On the floor in front of you are documents I provided to help him make the proper decision on who should live and who should die. He was warned what would happen if he didn't so. And the voice continues, now he won't get what he wants, and they'll all die, including the boy.
Only for Batman to say, wait. I'll take the Joker's place. I'll decide.
The voice says, very well, Batman, now you have my curiosity. And says that he has 15 minutes starting now.
So I just want to say that this trap thing, this little like horrible situation that was concocted, this feels very much made for Batman. like, as I look at this and I'm like, well, Joker's just gonna like go with his gut and be like, yeah, the dead, kill the dead, and like he's not gonna read all these fucking notes. He doesn't care.
I'm assuming that for the mysterious voice has probably determined that there is a correct answer of who should die.
Mm.
And the documents will provide clues determining which one is the one who should be dying.
Mm-hmm.
And that if Joker got the wrong answer, he wouldn't get what he wants with Harley back, I assume.
I see.
But we won't know until next issue because, of course, we cut away from Batman being forced to make a decision on who lives and who dies, to the Batcave where something's going breep, 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 because the computer has given alerts that an anomaly has been recognized, rapid cellular activity has been detected, and they recommend immediate quarantine protocols. Unfortunately, Dick Grayson appears to be asleep.
Yeah.
So as the toothy flesh starts to grow more and more teeth and starts to break through its containment, we just get a to be continued.
And that's all that's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Took us only an hour and 20 minutes, not count including the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we have so far of Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, and I'm hooked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to read the next issue and the next book, and I'm excited to see what they do. Fucking probably Joker having to Dick Grayson having to team up with Joker.
Mm-hmm. Dick and Joker are the only two that we can see in the Batcave right now.
Who knows? Maybe others will be there.
Just very curious if Dick's gonna either feel the need to free the Joker, or if the Joker's gonna get somehow accidentally released or something. I mean,
Oh
something's
man.
going on down in the Batcave, and Batman's going to be too busy to be there.
Yeah, too busy revisiting his central trauma, this time with the added twist of, hey, what if you got to pick which parent got killed? This is great for you, right? But yeah, so as we've recapped the events of this comic, I'm sure it's clear to anyone who's been listening that this is a very gritty, grim limited series.
I
With
mean, it definitely feels gritty and gruesome. But, like, something that I like that this comic has been doing, even as it is very dark, very bloody, very gritty, is that it isn't losing its sense of humor, which is weirdly a big problem I have in a lot of Joker-centric stories that I don't think are
yeah,
very good. Is that they lose that sense of levity that like you'd think is so central to who the Joker is that it wouldn't get missed, but it seems to get left behind deliberately. In fact, honestly, the same thing can happen with Nightwing with Dick Grayson. He's a character who's always been like quick witted, here with a joke all the time, and like it's a big part of who he was as Robin and who he is as Nightwing. Is just the levity of him, and it feels like writers a lot of the time try to deliberately move away from that to feel, oh, we're mature and we're doing big
yeah,
stories, and it's like it just makes it feel dull if you don't have that levity, which in the Joker's case often the funny that he brings is the darkness.
yes.
There's a lot of very grim humor that you can do with the Joker. But it feels like a lot of people just don't even do that humor. They just don't do any humor, and it's like
Yeah.
makes me wonder why you're writing the Joker and not just like I don't know Bane if you just want a guy who kills people. Penguin, like Black Mask if you really want to be boring.
Yeah. I am liking what they're doing with him in the Catwoman series, where he's just kind of like this specific, like, really woman hating piece of shit.
Yeah, that's Black Mask.
But and this is Batman and the Joker,
Yeah,
and I just
it's
fucking love it.
it keeps being so good. And I mean, like, a thing that happens to me a lot with Batman comics is that they will get so grim and so just, we're doing serious storytelling that, like, um, I just completely check out and I just can't get into it. This story keeps giving me character moments. It keeps giving me humor and levity. It keeps us doing the characters really well
Yeah.
and being fun and giving breathing moments. With Alfred, with Dick, with the Joker, in between the darker areas. And it's just this might be just me praising basic storytelling, but in fairness, I've read modern comics. This one has basic storytelling.
There's a lot of times where you'll be reading a new thing that's just kind of what passes for a comic book nowadays, and it's just not very good. It doesn't really grab
Yeah,
you. There's no like human connection or warmth. It's just kind of like dour and wrapped up in its own ass, and like
and
it.
it's not limited to comics, but of course comics are constantly being made every month. Tons of people are making them, so like you can find a lot of the problems with just there's issues with modern storytelling where like certain things have been determined to be immature or they've been determined to be like whatever, and so they get removed even though those things actually served a purpose.
Yeah.
They actually did something with the story.
Yeah.
You can't have darkness without the light because no one will care.
So I'm really glad we gave this comic a shot, and
Yeah, it is. It honestly, depending on how the rest of it goes, this might be just like among my top of Batman stories.
Yeah.
Because it's just been really, really excellent from a storytelling perspective. The art has been really good and very striking.
Yes.
Um, I was worried that my eyes were just going to glaze over it, but it's actually really good. And of course, at the end of book two, we have yet more inked inked pages by Mark Silvestri.
Yes, very impressive stuff. You get the chokes on you in just the inks.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I certainly hope that this ends pretty well with some good just something to I would like it if this story ends on a good note for Batman and the Joker.
Yeah. I my expectations are that I think we will have a fun journey that won't necessarily have a lot to say about Batman and the Joker. And if it did have something to say, and it was something that I felt, there are things that I feel should need to be said and should be said about Batman and the Joker. And this would absolutely be, an all time great comics if it actually did say what I think should be said about Batman and the Joker. But
Yeah.
I'm not expecting it.
Honestly, we haven't had much progress in that realm since the Killing Joke.
Yeah, and a lot of people misunderstood that one. So, I
So yeah. Um,
mean, there's still people who say that Batman is one bad day from becoming the Joker when it was Gordon.
just misquoting the damn comic. Um,
Yeah.
but uh, but yeah, like I hope that things keep being cool here. I think
Hmm.
this limited series is 10 books,
Is it?
and I think so. I think 10 or 8, but like
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll see. It might be
We'll
6.
uh, we'll keep on it anyway, and if it keeps being this good, we will continue to review it.
Yeah, it's good to read a comic that, like, even with like some misgivings with like some content in it, we can still just look at it and acknowledge that it's doing really cool things.
Yeah, and like I sort of judge things based on their context, or I like to try to. And when it comes to Batman stories, it's hard for Batman stories to get away from the very carceral view of mental health that Batman has been entrenched in for so long. It's something I would like to be changed in Batman. It's something that, like, if I had the opportunity to write Batman stories, I would do my best to try and reframe it to be better.
Yeah.
But as it is like it's the culture of what Batman is and what Batman represents right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so while I might hate it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
it's the kind of thing that I can't really criticize an individual Batman story for doing unless they go beyond. And this one hasn't. It is
Yeah.
honestly it's not even gone as far as some other Batman stories. Even with the whole disregarding the Joker's humanity in book one.
Yeah, and like it's with these like caveats that I do like give a bit of a recommendation for at least these first 2 issues to people.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's a recommendation that does have caveats because you do need to know what you're getting into. You need to be prepared for some really bloody stuff. It's not like a gore fest. It doesn't like revel in the blood and the guts and anything. It's honestly, when it comes to violent comics, I've seen way worse in art. This art has actually been very mild for the intensity of the violence that is happening.
yeah, I mean, Joker's face is attached to his head still, so
Yeah, I've seen some comics and just some media in general that like really revel.
really just revel in the absolute just gruesomeness of how Batman comics can be. And so like I
Hello?
hello, yeah. I just kind of continued where you were going, I think.
Sorry, Discord just suddenly booted me for some reason or something.
But yeah.
Uh, I was saying how comics, I've seen comics that really revel in the death and the blood and things, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to iterate that like if you have a problem with that kind of hyper violence, but you're generally okay with other violent depictions that don't go too far. I don't think this book goes too far with its depictions. It is fairly graphic,
Mhm.
but it is, you know, it. I think it's the fact that it's presented frankly.
Mhm.
Um, and people talk about like frank depictions of things, but like they don't necessarily always call things that are actual frank depictions
Yeah.
that. The violence is simply presented and it simply exists. And while it is fairly gruesome at times, it's not like you know um, glorified or anything. It's just present. It's not a Mortal Kombat. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And when it comes to the mental health stuff, which I'm particularly sensitive towards, and I know that um, a lot of people I know are because well, quite frankly, if the government goes down a certain slope, I could find myself very quickly having all of my rights removed. So,
yeah.
um, you know,
Mhm.
it's sanism is a dangerous thing because it feels like no matter where you live, you're always in a precarious position if you're a certain type of person, and you
Yeah.
could just get locked up and have no voice
Mhm.
in how you're treated. And unfortunately, like things like the way Batman handles this stuff, like popular media handles this stuff, adds
Mhm.
to the stigma around mental health and like the less glamorous mental illnesses that people don't like to talk about. People like to put them over in the corner of, oh, those are the bad ones. Those are the ones we should
Yeah.
really be look out for. Those are the crazies.
They're not the ones where you can have like this fucking glowing piece about how, oh, this brilliant, gifted mind that's just a little different. Like, just, ugh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know. Um,
Yeah,
men,
so,
People who are mentally ill are the ones who are primarily in danger, not everyone else.
yeah. So, there's a lot that goes into recommending a Batman comic.
Yeah,
Certainly one that has the Joker in it.
yeah, and while I do think this is a really great story, you know, you do got to keep in mind the violence, keep in mind the Batman typical sadism. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are my usual caveats anytime I'm talking about a Batman story because it always comes up.
Yeah,
It's just the way it's the way the world is right now and the way Batman is right now.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
And there's just a general, like, oh, the good cops type stuff.
right.
There's
Oh God,
that.
right. It was so farcical to me calling Harvey Bullock a good cop that I wasn't thinking about. But yes, there is also some mild propaganda, which is another one of the Batman caveats, and another Batman thing I'd like to you know change if I ever had the opportunity.
What's really incredible to me about Batman is that like the critical lens with which the police force is viewed in Gotham PD is pretty recent to the character's history in the grand scheme of things, and is thanks to kind of thanks to writer Frank Miller, who anyone who knows him wouldn't call him like a abolish the police type.
Or a good person.
ultimately, just like it's really just weird to me how like
Hmm.
of all things that's where we got that from, and there's been no progress since. Like, oh, but it is a common element in Batman stories of just like here's the good cops, here's Commissioner Gordon, here's Harvey Bullock apparently in this one, here's Renee Montoya. There's lots of like, oh, the good cops, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
like
Weird that it's not Montoya being highlighted as the good cop, because he's the actual good cop.
she's the actual one, but
Like you pair up them up together, Bullock and Montoya. It's like it's good cop, bad cop.
yeah, yeah.
Montoya's the good cop.
Don't know what that is, but yeah. Ultimately, just complicated thoughts about that apply to like any Batman comic, really. But
Yeah.
like this one, as far as like the crop goes, for like if you're looking for a Batman comic, if you're just someone who like maybe watched the cartoon growing up, or any of the cartoons, or watch the movies, or just if you just like Batman, because Batman is bigger than any one thing, is like a
Yeah.
cultural phenomenon. If you like Batman and you want to read a good comic of Batman, you could do a lot worse than this.
Yeah. Definitely a benefit this one has is that it isn't specifically in continuity with anything that's going on at DC right now.
Which makes it
Um,
self-contained.
yeah, what we've like, cause what we're dealing with is a very typical Batman Bruce Wayne, a very typical Nightwing, a
Mm-hmm.
very typical Joker. From what we can tell, a very typical Harley. Even if one that is like Harley doesn't tend to appear with the Joker anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
people still remember that. So
Yeah.
it's sort of a yesteryear Harley in a way,
Mm-hmm.
whereas everyone else is kind of pretty eternal to who they are
Yeah.
and who they've always been, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfred's great, and Catwoman.
Alfred's so
We haven't
good.
seen a lot of Selena around too much, but she was there in both issues, and she'll probably have a role to come.
Had a fantastic part to play in this one, I think.
Hmm.
Had a great time with it. But yeah, that's that's the comic. Thank y'all for tuning in. We try to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes we stream on Wednesdays. If you haven't
Yeah,
already, please feel free to follow us on Twitch if you want to catch these live. Because uh, as the situation is right now, can't really have like a very concrete schedule necessarily. But we do our best. We try to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays,
yeah.
and we have a YouTube VOD channel, which is linked to on our Twitch profile, which you can watch all our past streams on. Um, and please feel free to subscribe, like, or comment on those videos. Cluster reads the comments.
Hmm. And of course, if you are usually here for us reviewing Sonic comics, we will be doing that as per usual, hopefully on schedule tomorrow.
Yeah, with the new issue 55, pretty good. Spoilers, pretty good. But yeah, until next time, I'm Felicia Rondo, and that's close over there.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye bye.